This desert hilltop in the Judean Desert called Hyrcania is one of the most interesting historical sites in the Holy Land, but it has never been excavated until today. A group of archaeologists and volunteers gathered last month for the first time to dig and research this magnificent site, whose history goes back to the 2nd century BC.
This is one of a series of the Hasmonean Second Temple period desert fortresses later rebuilt and enlarged by Herod the Great. Centuries later it becomes one of the centers of the monastery movement of the Judean Desert. The monastery remained active past the Islamic conquest of Palestine, the land of Israel, into the early Islamic period until it was abandoned in the medieval era, and taken together with the history, the archaeological significance, just the surroundings. It's something that truly overwhelms us.
Hyrcania is mentioned in Josephus' book Antiquities of the Jews as one of the 3 fortresses that Queen Salome Alexandria, wife of Alexander Gennaeus, the second Hasmonean king, who ruled the land during the 1st century BCE, refused to give up to the Pharisee party. Later, the site was associated with the famous King Herod the Great and known as the place where the Roman important king of Judea imprisoned and tortured his rivals. The fortress is also linked to the Copper Scroll, one of the famous Dead Sea Scrolls, which contains instruction about a mysterious treasure.
We assume that the treasures that are mentioned in the Copper Scrolls are the treasures of the temple, and the late Professor Hanan Eshel also suggested that perhaps even the treasures of the first temple. We conducted excavations in 2 tunnels on the foothill of Hyrcania, where we uncovered enigmatic tunnels, 2 meters high, 1 meter wide, with steps that goes down in 45 degrees on a length of 123 meters. Those are really incredible tunnels that we think that perhaps used as one of the places to hide the treasures that are mentioned in the Copper Scroll.
Digging in Hyrcania is quite a challenge. It's located in a remote area in the heart of the Judean Desert. It takes around an hour of driving and another half an hour of walking to get to the top of the hill. Up until recently, it was inside a military training zone, and it also stands in Area C of the West Bank. Nevertheless, around 20 enthusiastic diggers came here in the midst of a heat wave.
I found some glassware that's unique, and then when I listened to the archaeologists like Oren, he tells me what that is, I was like, wow, I just, to realize you're holding something that's hundreds, maybe 1,000 years old in your hands.
Ancient history is our history, and so as we discover history, we make history, and we kind of feel like we're making history here.
The excavation is a joint effort of the Hebrew University, Carson Newman University, and American Veterans Archeological Recovery, an organization which helps war veterans who are facing challenges in their life.
I think what we're really doing is giving them a new sense of pride and accomplishment, but also a new purpose, a new thing to focus on. One of the great things about Israeli archaeology is that archaeologists here are so precise. They're very good at this. They've been digging sites like this for, over a century at this point. So we want the archaeologists here to train our folks to do the best archaeology possible. That's what really lets them kind of overcome some of those symptoms, is doing this job well, focusing on this job in the field, and working with other people who also may have those struggles and who understand what they're going through.
So far, the team has managed to uncover a part of a Byzantine monastery which is based on a secondary use of stones from the Second Temple period. They also found some fascinating items, like a golden ring with an early Arabic inscription.
And behind this wall, we uncovered a new chamber with a new mosaic floor that was not known. The plans for the future is to continue exploring the site, continue the excavation, to do some conservation survey in order to maybe to have a large-scale project here and to open it to the public as a national park.
The name Hyrcania refers to John Hyrcanius, a Maccabean leader and a Jewish high priest of the 2nd century BC. The team hopes to continue their expedition hundreds of years after the site was deserted and became a target for antiquities looting.